the nation's music station, and right now we would like to welcome to Much Music the Bangles, Susanna Hoffs, Debbie Peterson, Michael Steele, and Vicki Peterson. Great to see you in. You had a show at the Kingswood Music Theatre at Canada's Wonderland, just north of Toronto last night.
Yeah.
And
Wasn't it a wonder?
after unfortunately having to cancel a show which was booked about 6 months ago at the concert hall, it's great to see you back.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
Good show?
Yeah. It was fun. It was definitely fun.
Yeah, we tried to get our courage up to ride the rides, but I kept watching and wondering if people are standing up.
Yeah, you have to watch that one.
They go around the first curve and they all scream. They go, ah! And then they do the loop and they all get totally quiet. It's so terrifying that nobody says anything.
I think it's because when your life is passing before your eyes, you don't make
have
any
much
sound.
to say.
Yeah. A few sound problems last night, but outside of that, things were pretty good.
Yeah.
I just noticed in a couple of reviews.
Acts of God,
squeaks and squeals.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of control that you have over things like that.
No, not a lot. No, microcosm of life.
Yeah, we want to be a folk rock band, and we won't have to deal with that kind of stuff anymore.
Exactly. The acoustic guitars up on stage, sing to the audience.
Yeah.
And you don't have to deal with amplifiers, lights, or sound technicians.
Yeah. We could do Puff the Magic Dragon.
Yeah.
All right.
We're thinking about that.
Last time around, the reviews for the show were quite good, but they said that there was still a few rough edges around some of the things.
Who, us? Rough edges?
Do you think that this time around things are a little more...
Now we're perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know how we've done it, but...
I don't want to say polished, because perhaps that's the wrong word.
No, I was going to say we've refined the rough edge quality of our sound so that it's...
I'm not so sure about
I can't figure out how I'm trying to say this. It's too early, but we are still rough. We'll always be rough.
I think rough edges are our life. That's what we do best.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
The rough edges, the feedback, the gnarly mistakes.
Do you consciously inject those into the show? Or
Oh, yes. It's all done on purpose.
It's been 3 minutes without a rough edge, so let's put one in here.
Every time we make a mistake, it's definitely intentional.
It's all choreographed. And what we do now is we have a guy who stands by the side of the stage, and he has the whole show taped.
Right.
And we have made the mistakes be a part of the tape, you see, so that we don't have to worry about
the whole thing's
the
on emulator and computers and synthesizers. It's none of it's us anyway.
Well, I have to say then that you do a fabulous job of syncing the mistakes.
Oh,
Thank you. Well, thank you so much.
We're very well rehearsed.
You'd never know that you were syncing to them.
No, it's just it's amazing.
We learned all our tricks from the Thompsons.
Does it feel like things have gelled a little more musically on stage over the past year?
We've gelled considerably.
Considerably.
I don't know, it looks like a little bit of hairspray, but not too much gel.
Oh, there's no gel or hairspray. It's a real psychedelic concept with us.
Because I'm sure that the more you play together and the more tours you go on, the more used you get to playing with each other even when you're tired, because I know how rough the road can be. The better you become as musicians on stage. Is that happening to you, or are you managing to...
We're
trying to avoid it.
I don't think we're even aware of the sort of improvement that we've made this year. But we have friends who've seen us several times during this tour, and they say we've improved, we've gotten better. We're now like doing moves that we're not even aware of the sort of natural choreography which has come to pass at our shows. So I think we are. We just don't have any perspective at all whatsoever.
Total consciousness.
So you just rely on friends to say, how am I doing tonight? Right.
Yeah. But I mean,
we hire them to come to the shows, to give us good support afterwards. Say, oh, you're doing that much better now. Yes, you're doing that much better.
And I guess if the whole show's on tape, it's pretty hard to tell.
This is true. This is all for effect. It doesn't matter.
One of the things that intrigues me about the different light LP, and I suppose it was perhaps a little bit helpful in the eyes of some of the radio stations who received Manic Monday on their desk, was the Prince connection that's been made.
Oh, the famous Prince connection.
The famous Prince connection. How did this come together?
Basically,
we've heard rumors. So.
Yeah, I think Prince is just... he's one of those people who are very obsessed with music in every way, and he's always going to clubs and getting records and finding out about bands, and we were very happy to know that he was a fan of ours. And through him liking our music, we just became friends over the years. And it's been a couple of years since we first met him.
We met him back in 1945.
Yeah, we met him a few years ago when we had our first record out. He liked a song called Hero Takes a Fall a lot.
Yeah, great tune.
Yeah. And he's just pops in and out, you know, wherever.
Like Bewitched. you know?
Like,
Just there. It's like Serena. It was amazing.
Was he in on the production of Manic Monday?
Not at all, no, because he was working on his film at that time. So we would just communicate over the phone and we send him a tape of the mix, and called back the next day saying how much he liked it, and, you know, that kind of thing.
That's great. Did he personally deliver the song or telex it to you?
Well, he was in the studio at the time, so I went over just to the studio and picked up a copy of the tape.
It seemed to be a good combination.
Yeah.
Songs and band.
Yeah,
It came out quite well. Went top 10, didn't it?
Yeah, number 2.
Number 2?
Yeah, that is top 10. That is almost number 1.
So for you, it was probably a pretty good combination as well.
It was great.
Okay, well, why don't we take a look at it right now? All right?
Good idea.
That's a real...
Why don't we? From Different Light, here's the Bangles. This is Manic Monday. The Bangles that you girls were oohing and ahhing over the Beatles promo there. Big fans of the Beatles still?
Who, us?
No, never.
Who isn't? Really?
You grew up in, I guess, what was a fairly intimate music scene. It was fairly reactionary against some of the slick LA sounds that were going on.
Yeah,
and you
was
probably
the Eagles backlash.
Yeah, and you probably had a real hardcore following in some of the clubs like the Troubadour and whatever. How did those original fans react to the band now that you've achieved a modicum of success nationally?
Well, the ones that really love us didn't care when we got bigger. I don't know, some of them, I think sometimes fans get upset when you don't play the small places anymore. They can't come and see you anymore. They
lose the intimacy,
yeah.
and it's just one of the sort of sad things that happens with the happiness of success, is that you really do lose that sort of one-on-one thing with a very, 150 kids crammed into a room, a quarter the size of this room.
Yeah, blowing smoke in your face, standing right there.
Well, Mike, you said that the original fans can't come to the bigger gigs. Why? Is it because
well, no,
they can.
They won't allow them?
Well, what I meant was they can't just walk right up to you and go and blow smoke in your face. And just which is actually one of the nicer things about playing the bigger places, because you're not going, oh,
we really haven't changed, and it's funny. I don't feel that. I think that we've still really maintained our sort of underground connections with people. And when we go on stage, we get weird. We're rough, as we said before. We still get rocked out and
There's
raunchy,
a friend of ours,
Yeah.
There's a friend of ours in Los Angeles who's a rock journalist for an LA paper, and he came to our show at the Greek Theater, which was our big homecoming show for us. It was a big show in LA. We were very nervous, and he just, afterwards he said, I can't believe, a garage band is still up on stage doing, having top 10 hits and playing the Greek Theater. It's like, how did you get away with it? Yeah. And still sound like that.
And we do, we still, goof around on stage. I'll still start going up to Vicky's guitar and strumming it and making lots of noise.
Chase each other across
She makes
stage.
a lot of noise on stage.
We still carry the garage around with us.
Yeah.
Well, the Rolling Stones did it.
Yeah, the Rolling Stones
absolutely
did it.
right.
That's sort of our role model. Oh, and we found out recently that Keith Richards knows about us.
Yeah,
That is amazing.
In what way?
we prayed to God after that.
You
That
can
was
tell
amazing.
the story. But
Well, he had a daughter. He had a new daughter.
So he has 3
and
now.
as opposed to an old one. And he has 3 one, and I think they wanted a boy, but instead he said, well, we'll just keep on having girls and give the Bangles some competition. And we read a quote that went like that in a paper, and we just died. Couldn't sleep for days. We were so excited.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Keith.
So maybe 20 years from now, as you were giving competition for the top of the charts, the competition for the top of the charts for the Stones, they will be giving it to you.
Yeah.
Can you see being around in 20 years? Do you ever look that far away?
God,
hope to God
I
we'll
hope
be
we
here.
are. I hope everybody is.
I hope we're all here.
You were saying that you were a garage band that got up on stage and kept being a garage band, like the Stones did. And it was interesting to read reviews from some of the first performances at major venues that you did. The critics came out and they were surprised at your competence. It was almost like just on principle they were expecting you to fail.
It's kind of sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the way this business goes a lot of times, People want to see you fail for some bizarre reason, and why, and you have to prove it to them. So there's a lot of testing going on all the time. But we can handle it, can't we, girls?
Do you feel that there's perhaps more pressure on you to prove yourself than perhaps a male band would
We
have?
actually are the ones that put the most pressure on ourselves because we're very
Self-critical. Very neurotic.
We're very neurotic, but we want to do everything we do as best we can, and that includes a lot of self-torture, basically.
We want to be rough in the best possible way.
I'm sure there are a lot of people who expect us to be a certain way because we're female, but we can't worry about them. You know, we can't get on stage and think, oh God, what are those people out there who are expecting an all-girl band to sound like an all-girl band, whatever that is their concept of it. Because all we can do is get up there and play our songs.
Because I've read articles that were written, obviously, by men that approached the band from a standpoint of, well, gee, they were really cute girls, and so I had a great time sitting down and talking with them. And it was approached from the angle of, well, they were cute, so it was all right.
I wonder who he was talking to.
Yeah. Well, whatever, or what time of the day it was. Obviously, it wasn't first thing in the morning.
Do you find that the media, especially males in the media, tend to approach the band that way? It must be a maddening thing to do.
I don't know. I mean, if people are well-adjusted people, they approach us as human beings. You know, we can't...
Sometimes female interviewers ask us more questions about
they're strange.
Women in rock and women in rock, you know, these kind of questions. We get very tired of them. And so,
this one girl just yesterday was asking us, do you see yourself as a woman, or do you see yourself as a musician?
First, you wake up in the morning, what do you think?
I
don't know.
I wasn't born and laying there in the crib going, I'm a musician.
I'm a musician. I know. I said I think of myself as a woman first, I suppose, as a person.
Yeah, just a being, as it were.
I think if you can just comfortably exist doing whatever you're doing without having to focus on, am I this or am I that?
The greatest battle of all is to exist comfortably.
We're all Renaissance people.
This is true.
People do always like to separate things in the music industry, though, and if I could make just a quick little separation myself. There seems to be a trend now towards what girl bands in the 60s used to be. For example, Madonna might mirror what Diana Ross is doing. Bananarama could be perhaps the Ronettes or something like that. It's people who don't play instruments getting up and singing other people's songs. As a band, what do you think of that situation?
I don't know. I think it's really fun to sing without playing sometimes, because it's a little harder to sing and play at the same time.
It's very difficult.
We've done it before. We did it on a television show in the States. We just got up in front of 4 microphones and were the Pointer Sisters for a second. You know, I mean, it was. I mean, it's fun. It's a different aspect of what we do, but we do write our own songs. We do play our own instruments, and
we're a rock band.
We would never give that up. I would never give that up. It wouldn't feel comfortable.
Yeah, it's too fun.
So you would never ever want to hire a backing band and concentrate on vocals, because your vocals are very, very good.
Well, I think the a cappella singing and possibly singing with a different type of accompaniment may come down the line, but that is expensive. That means, you know, a big show with a I mean, it would be wonderful to sing with the string section or something and just, you know.
Maybe hasn't changed, but I think basically we're all musicians as well as singers, so we love to play.
We can't give up the electric guitars, the drums, you know. It's just we can't do that yet.
How about the things that go on behind the scenes as well, like the arranging and the production end of it? I'm sure that when you are
figures behind the curtain.
Yes, of course. I'm sure that when you're a singer, you don't get quite as involved in that if you're singing other people's material with studio musicians.
It depends on the artist. I think some artists definitely do get involved, and some just walk in after everything's done and lay down their vocal tracks. You know, it depends on the.
Cyndi Lauper sings other people's songs. You know, you can be damn sure
she's in there from day one.
Involved in every aspect, every sound, every snare sound on that record. She's involved.
Well, actually, Cyndi wasn't one of the people that I was thinking about.
Yeah, but she's an example of someone who does sing other people's material and does get very involved.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, we as a band are very involved in the sounds that we're making. And we care very much about the sounds of our records and the production values and everything.
Yeah, we have to sleep at night, so we try to take as much control as we can.
Yeah, otherwise, you're always thinking, what are they doing with the tapes when you're in bed?
Yeah.
We care too much.
We don't sleep at night. We've been on tour for 8 months, and we're having a lot of trouble sleeping at this point.
To me,